Hello, users, and what the hell? What the hell is poppin'? Welcome to another episodic installation of Above It All. This is the series in which I drink coffee, and I am not ready for this scoop yet. But I've got to make a video pre-caffeination because holy fuck, it happened. It fucking happened. Elizabeth is gone. Ugh. My heart. Okay, so she hasn't endorsed anybody yet. At least as of this recording, it's totally possible. That she will endorse someone literally like in like 15 minutes from now. It's totally possible. This just happened. This just came out. But goddamn, we have some hashtags here. People saying, "Stay in, Liz! I want to vote for you!" Like the same kind of dead end losers that are like, hashtag still voting Yang, guys! And like the Tull cells who just like, for whatever reason, like I'm not gonna go there. Anyway, so it happened. It finally happened. She's gone. That leaves Tulsi to be the only extremely cringy candidate left in the race. I don't know why she's in the race. I think it's super obnoxious. I think it's super bizarre. I don't like her. I think if you do like her, you're probably really horny. And I suggest giving me money on Patreon instead. Anyway, Elizabeth Warren getting out of the race basically cements that this is a two-person race now. This is Bernie, who represents change, who represents healing this country, bringing it to something that even is cohesively understood as a society in a lot of ways, saving us from a climate disaster, saving 68,000 people a year who die because they can't go to the doctor or don't have enough money to risk going to the doctor because they need to pay bills or need to feed their children or whatever. It's saying, I see you, I understand your struggle, and we can do this together, versus Joe Biden. And I'm really regretting not picking up the book Yesterday's Man from the Jacobin, because that has such a good title. But honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I bought a bunch of Jacobin books when they were on sale, and I didn't buy that one because I was like, do I really want to talk about Joe Biden going forward? I mean, he's probably not going to do that well, right? But no. I regret that. But, because I would show that up and I'd make a little funny skit. Anyway, versus you have Joe Biden, who? An architect, a chief architect of the drone war, a child of the credit card industry, a bookkeeper for, like, sexual harassment, sexual predators. Like, he's a guy who openly on television will sniff children's hair and pretend like it's totally normal. Openly on television, kiss his granddaughter on the lips, like in the middle of a campaign event. I'm not sure if there was tongue, however, I wouldn't be surprised. This is a guy who brags about working with segregationists in the 70s. Not working with them as in like, oh, we're going to work with them to make sure that, children can eat, and we just disagree on those things, but we agree on these things. No. Working with them as in like, oh, they want to separate, black people from white people, and I'm going to back that up because I'm a bipartisan Biden. Woo! Like, he's an embodiment of everything that is wrong with this country, except he doesn't do the mean tweets. And I don't want to say that Biden on a policy level is the same as Trump. Clearly Trump is a runaway train of disaster, and we're really close to the cliff. But I don't think Joe Biden can stop the train in time before we fall off of that cliff, and that's my worry. And Elizabeth Warren getting out of the race cements that it's a two-person race. You don't have Elizabeth Warren go like, well, Bernie is not that great, and I'm better than Bernie, but at the same time, Biden's also bad, and you gotta vote for me, I'm Ralph Nader. Like, you don't have to do that anymore. We're where we are right now. We are where we were in 2016, in a way. It's a clear contrast. There were these head-to-head polls that came out, and Bernie did really well against everyone in a head-to-head. And guess what? We're here. It's a head-to-head. The South, that's been front-loaded. Super Tuesday was mostly southern states. I think next you still have Mississippi and Missouri. But honestly, Missouri's, from looking at polling, Missouri can be pretty Bernie friendly. But now it's a two-person race. And the delegates are essentially tied. Michigan is next week. Michigan. The biggest delegate stake of next week's elections is Michigan. This is it. That we are in the grind time. Like I said before that like the weekend of South Carolina leading the Super Tuesday, I said that was crunch time, and it was crunch time. We could have clinched the nomination there, but the Empire decided to hold itself together in a cocoon of cringe, so to speak, and they've bought themselves another round, but how many more rounds can they withstand? I don't know. I don't know. This is going to be scary. If you live in Michigan, if you know anybody, if it's like someone you grew up with and they moved to Michigan or whatever, please give them a call. You got to make sure that they vote. It is again, there are millions of people that are affected by billions of people who are affected by who the president of the United States is. Our foreign policy, especially if you live in Latin America, the Middle East, our foreign policy affects you on a daily basis. When you go in there to vote, you have to think of the people who lost their children because of drone warfare in Iraq and Afghanistan. You have to think of the people in Chile whose government has been constantly played around with. Like, their entire forms of democracy have been completely manipulated by the United States over generations. You have to think of, like, the people in our own country that are sleeping on the street after going and fighting in a literal fake war because all they wanted to do was to protect their friends and family. You gotta think of everybody when you vote. You can't vote and go like, I'm gonna vote for Andrew Yang and then make a tweet and go like, Yang Yang. Like, you can't do that. Like, this is serious. Like, and now that Elizabeth Warren is gone, it is a clear contrast. Do we want to move forward, or do we want to try to build a time machine and move back in time? Because those are the options. And the next few months are going to be interesting, to say the least. The South has been front-loaded. Joe Biden's firewall of Republican states is basically gone. Do I think he's not going to win another state? No. Joe Biden's too strong now. He's most definitely going to win some states still. But do I think it looks very good for Bernie going forward, especially when you have California's delegates aren't allocated all together yet? And he's definitely going to be not only building up more of a delegate lead, I think, but adding on to some of these late mail-in ballots and late counted ballots in California. I think we've got this, y'all. And again, it's crunch time. It's going to be crunch time until June, presumably. Like, I can see us going into New Jersey. Like, I can see Bernie Sanders going into New Jersey and Joe Biden going into New Jersey and having a fight for their lives on who's going to get those last 100-something delegates. Like, I can see that happening here. And we gotta do this, y'all. Elizabeth Warren is out. It happened. It's a two-person race. I'm sorry, Tulsi Gabbard. Post one more video of your yoga pants, and maybe I'll consider pretending that you're still in the race. But for the love of God, please. Oh, God. That's so embarrassing. So embarrassing. Oh. We got this, y'all. Let's do it.